Leave me alone, I might need me a sec. I need it. Fuck it, I need me a check. I need it. Saying with love, now that I'm found, I really need my respect. I really need it. Nobody but me in my head. Nobody. I'ma do me till I'm dead. Do me. If I gotta fight for my soul, then fuck it, I might as well go for the neck. Whoa.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? How we doing today? We're back on another episode of the Us versus Us podcast, episode number 20. I got my brother right here with me. How we doing today, Probably?
Fucking 20 of these motherfuckers, dog.
20, bro.
Nice.
I don't even, what was your favorite moment from when you were 20 years old?
Shit.
I can't even.
I don't even know what the fuck I was doing when I was 20.
I got mine.
I'm just gonna kind of broad statement this and just say I just loved performing. When I was 20.
That's when I really knew.
That's when I thought I had something. I think 20 was like, when me and Chi was ripping the stage.
Yeah.
Just us two as the duo.
Yes,
so
sir.
It was fun.
The Diggers. No, not the Diggers, but just as the boys.
The Degenerates, I think we were going by at the time.
So you guys did have a name.
Mm-hmm.
That's fire. I think what I was doing at 20 is I was definitely getting hammered. But I was fucking around in Chicago in California.
Nice.
So that was probably the highlight when I was 20. So yeah, fuck yeah. We're rocking. It's another good episode, you know what I'm saying? We had a great week and a great weekend.
Yeah.
What do you how you feeling today as far as like the show goes? Like, how does it feel to be like 20 episodes deep at this point?
I mean, dude, it feels great. It kind of feels a little bit like we're getting in a routine and everything, so it's starting to feel like a little bit more a part of my life instead of like something I want to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Does
Yeah.
that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's like something that definitely is like a part of what I do with my life. So it's like starting to become more, I don't know, I don't want to say serious because that like makes it too weird, but like it's starting to be like one of those things.
It's just like a prominent thing.
Yeah, that
life,
I look forward to every week and whatnot and stuff like that. So
And
starting to feel like,
and I think people are definitely starting to realize and recognize that too, just because like the feedback that we've been getting over like the last couple of weeks, although the views haven't been like crazy, people still show their support in different ways.
Yeah,
you know
man.
what I mean? So
I think like it's so cool because there's times where like randomly people would be like, "Hey, dude, where do you find your podcast?" And I'm just like, "Oh shit, like I'm at a football game right now, man." But on YouTube, like, you know what I mean? So it's kind of cool. I think the best thing that we can do now going forward is like continue to do what we're doing and see what comes of it. Like I said, I'm just feeling more comfortable. I'm feeling more like the ideas are flowing more. I need to get to the point where I write them down and
I think at this point too, where we are kind of at like in like a dead season type of deal. You know what I mean? Where like the award shows and everything are kind of all like settling and shit and stuff, and like sports kind of is gonna like kind of die down here in a second. So
baseball?
It's gonna really push us to be creative and kind of like step outside of the comfort zone and come up with topics that we think will be entertaining for everybody and everything like that.
Yeah.
So just real quick, because we were talking about names. And you go by the Diggers and the Degenerates. For people who don't know you, do you want to talk about your name Probably and like how you got that and what's going on with that?
So Probably is like definitely one of the more random names like anybody's like I think ever been called in their life. But I just remember when I was like 13, 14, I've been like going through rap names and I just couldn't find one that like stuck. But yeah, and then so I was on like Twitter or something and I just like remember like looking at people's usernames and people would always do like it's Jussie, or like,
Oh yeah.
or they would do like I have like my name is probably now, but they would do shit like that. And a lot of like you've called me Jay my whole life. My dad's called me Jay or JJ my whole life. And I kind of liked going by that at the time. Anyway, long story short, I went by Probably Jay. Because like, oh, Probably Jay, like probably without the B's, and that became like a thing because I don't know, I just thought it was like rolled off really well, and so then everybody started calling me that a little bit, and then eventually, you know how like nicknames are, like especially for some reason, like in our friend group, they always like we always stop doing the full name of the nickname and just start like
piecing it
together. Like, anyway, long story short, Probably came about, and that's what people were calling me. And so at the time when I was starting to release more music, I wanted to have a more mature insight, because I always thought Probably Jay was like more me in high school, like me kind of just fucking around, like me just with the boys and stuff. So I wanted to bring a more mature approach and kind of just go with the one name, and Probably was it. Probably is kind of like, it reminds me of Prince. You know what I mean? Prince is one name, one guy, like, so that's where I kind of came up with it and just kind of let it rock. And so now Probably has just been what people call me, and I think it's probably like the coolest nickname you can have. You know what I mean? Because it just rolls off. It's one of those things where like once it caught wind, and once everyone just kind of started pitching in on calling me it,
the
and,
idea.
yeah, and stuff like that. Like people call me Prauls and stuff. So
yeah, even to this day, I like we'll mix it up. I'll call you P and just all kinds of shit. You know what I mean? And I don't know, for a while, yeah, you were kind of jumping around names, but I thought that probably just like kind of fit the most.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I think I went by like Century for like a couple years in between Probably Jay, and when I decided like, yeah, I'm gonna stick with Probably, because like it is weird. It is weird when you like when you have to identify. You know what I mean? Like being with a group or like working with others a lot, you just kind of tend to just feed off of each other. So when you have to like sit down and be like, oh, well, like I'm an artist, you know what I mean? Like who am I? What does that mean? It does kind of just it makes it kind of weird. And so I like went by Century for a while, and it's like I need to find a name that sticks. And so then Probably happened, and now Probably's a thing.
Probably's the thing.
Probably's a guy. Probably's him. Probably's that motherfucker. So that's cool.
Well, all right, man. So like I was saying with like the award shows, like kind of wrapping up, one of like the bigger things that happens every year is the Met Gala. And actually one year we attempted our own Met Gala, which is pretty fire sick. For New Year's.
It was dope. Too.
Yeah, it was pretty tight. Everybody, like, we actually had like a pretty good showing out and everything like that. It was pretty fire. Back at the Tween.
Yes, sir.
But the cool thing about the Met Gala, I think probably for me, is just like all of the fashion, because like, I mean, what really is the Met Gala? Do you know? Do you like?
I think it's a fundraiser thing.
Oh, really?
Like I think people like, I think it's like one chick throws in, sends the invites, and so like you get invited, and then I think you pay. Don't quote me on this. Never been invited. But I think you like it's when you go, it's like you're like investing in, like, I don't know what you're like donating to or what happened, but I think it is like some kind of like
there's some kind of cause that they're all pitching towards and everything.
Yeah,
like that.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. I mean, I thought it was just more of like another like fashion week type of deal, honestly. Just because like I feel like that's where a lot of the focus is like mainly on. It's just like, what are people wearing to the Met Gala?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And over the years, we've definitely seen a bunch of crazy outfits come out of them. Are there any in particular that come to mind when you think of Met Gala?
When Ye and Kim went, and Ye looked like a fucking vampire. That was cool. Like, he had like contacts in his eyes and shit. That was pretty fire. But like other than that, like nothing like sticks out to me immediately. Like if I like went through a fucking pamphlet of outfits, I might be like, oh, that's cool. But
Yeah.
I've never been the kind though to like really like invest that interest, but I think it's always cool to see who goes and like the different outfits that people like do, because like you get to see motherfuckers like Russell Westbrook is like like a pretty like prominent athlete that goes, right?
Yeah.
So he's always got cool outfits and stuff like that. So it's cool to see athletes like in that different light.
Like I seen Jalen Hurts pull up yesterday, or and with his lady, and they look pretty good. You know what I mean? It wasn't like too out of pocket. It was more of just like kind of like a casual fit, but flashy.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And that's the kind of style of shit that I would be into. You know what I mean? As opposed to like somebody showing up dressed as like a hamburger, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
I did see one dude last night. I don't know his name. Something Elba. He's doing the F1 movie. So he came like dressed as an F1 driver, and then he had like people fucking
the outfit switch.
and they, like ripped off his shit, and he was like in this like red like fucking cool ass suit.
I thought the
helmet.
I thought the helmet was probably the like sickest part, just because like
sparkly and shit.
I thought it was a football helmet, but now that you say that it is like an F1 helmet, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Because it did it have a visor? It might have had a visor. I'm not had a visor too. So I mean, overall, like, I didn't see every single outfit. I'm not like that deep into it, you know what I mean? And I'll probably, as it comes along, just like check it out, you know what I mean? But I just caught the fashion bug, like, you know, like last year, you know what I mean? So it's still kind of growing on me, and like I would say that I'm still like not even like 100% sure on like the fashion or style that, like, you know, I want to go in.
That's always been my thing with fashion. It's like I like fashion and I can appreciate it, but I don't know where to start. You know what I mean? I look at fashion like I look at like art and painting. I fucking love that shit. And if you can do it, and if you have an eye for it, fucking brilliant. I just have a hard time knowing like how to develop that eye and how to develop that like sense of vision, if you will, because I really don't. Like, there's times where I put on outfits and I like feel good because like I could tell I look good, but like for me, looking good is just like smiling. Sorry, it's just like smiling. So like I've never really pieced together an outfit like that, you know what I mean? You have, so it's like cool to see that.
I at least give an effort to try to like kind of be a little bit different, you know what I mean? Whether it is with like even just the colors that I'm, you know, that I'm wearing, trying to like be all like matching or associated with the colors on the shoe that I'm wearing or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I think that like being an artist for myself, being like, especially like a street, you know, graffiti artist, I feel like it definitely, it's fun. Like it's another version of creating another art, like you said, you know what I'm saying? So it's me pretty much freestyling my wear.
Like, you know, sketching it.
Yeah.
And I think it's cool because like there are people that like I see, and this is my thing, this is me just being like a hipster. It's just like there are people that inspire me in fashion. Like you're one of them, definitely. Like Tyler Creators, like really, obviously he's a big name now, but even just from when he was started, like wearing
Odd
like,
Future,
the Odd Future,
shit,
the gold shit was
so
like
hard.
so cool and so new and when it came out, and like nobody was doing those colors and wearing it the ways he was wearing it. So I thought that was like really cool. But to see like people evolve too is like cool. Like to see people go from like wearing just streetwear to like now he can like he's now a designer. You know what I mean? It's,
now he dresses
Pharrell's like
fire.
That. Yeah. Pharrell's like that. You know, Kanye was like that. And just people like that like really, like I said, I just love seeing people on that side. You know what I mean? You don't ever really get like, now it's a lot better. You know, you have like the tunnel fits for athletes and shit like that. You know, it's getting
like
better.
A focus on it.
And seeing them in that light, but it's always cool because like really growing up, we didn't really have good examples of that. You know what I mean? It was just kind of like
everybody was like I don't know, you when we were growing up, I guess like everybody was like in the baggy clothes era. You know what I mean? Like the like Soulja Boy, like you know, big jerseys, Air Force One.
Clothes that didn't fit, like
and then eventually they went from too big to too small, right? We went from like really baggy jeans to like skinny jeans and Vans. You know what I mean? Like quick. And I mean, I feel like at the time we weren't very adoptive of it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like we were all kind of like, bro, that looks kind of lame. You know what I mean?
It's different,
But as people, and I feel like as social media kind of grew, people started to become a little bit more open-minded towards it. You know what I mean?
Well, I think it's always like whatever's like visually appealing is always gonna like kind of, whether it's like, because the shock factor is always a thing, right? Like people, if you wear skinny jeans to a school of people that like wear nothing but baggy jeans, like they're gonna look at you and be like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But then like you gotta think too, is like there are times where people, it's visually appealing, so like you stare and then you start to say like, oh, that actually looks pretty fucking cool.
That looks pretty tight.
Like, and then you get those people that are like, oh shit, like I would wear those with something like this.
Yeah.
You know, if I wore those, I would, you know, and that's kind of cool. Like I said, I don't know how that's like. I sometimes I might piece together that with like hats or something, but I'm not that type of person. So like it's cool to see the evolution of that.
Yeah. I remember the first time I wore skinny jeans to sophomore homecoming. That was the first time I wore skinny jeans, bro, and everybody was like kind of giving me shit, like, dude, what's up with your jeans? The principal didn't even want to let me in the dance because he was like, yo, your pants are too tight. I was like, what? Like, they're fucking pants, bro. What are you talking about? He's like, why are you wearing those? I was like, dude, they're just jeans, bro. Just like leave me alone. Let me go do my thing. But yeah, I remember that specifically. So now that like the fashion, I guess the fashion bug has always been a thing when I think about it like that. But now that last year has, like, you know, the sneaker thing has really caught my attention, and you know, Goat is a fucking great app for that, because you can go on the Goat and you can click in like different countries to see what people in Paris are wearing, what people in Japan are wearing. You know what I'm saying? And I think they are adapting a lot of our culture, but they're also we're incorporating their culture into our stuff too. You know what I mean? And
heavy.
And I mean, dude, the more I like look at fashion from different places, the more I get inspired, not expired.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Fucking, I guess too. I like. What do you feel about, like, where, just like with any kind of art, but where does it go from like copying someone's style to like imitating one's like
their
style.
whole John?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is it getting the same outfits as someone, or is it like, or is it like how do you do that? Like how do you get inspired from different like pieces, and so, not necessarily say like, oh, I want that, I want to look like that. Is that what you kind of
so like? what I would say is I the second part is exactly like how I would phrase it, where it's like, where if I see something, I like I'm like, yo, that looks fire, but kind of like I would put my own twist on it. So like when I'm at the thrift store, I know kind of like in the back of my head the style that I'm kind of like looking for, but I want to kind of like have it be its own little wave of like, you know, whether it is a different brand or maybe a different graphic or a different pattern, you know what I mean? It's still along the same lines. Me personally, I would never probably like cop something that like I know for a fact either like my homie has or like, you know, like someone like near and dear to me. You know what I mean? I would never. I would probably. I think the only time I've ever like been like seen a celebrity and been like, oh, I need that shirt is if it was like a shirt of like a memorabilia shirt kind of, you know what I mean, or like a tribute shirt, like something like that. You know what I'm saying, like a concert tee,
Yeah.
or something. You know what I mean, something to catch a like a specific moment. That's like the only time I've ever seen a celebrity and been like, oh, I want to look exactly like that. I need that exact shirt. You know what I'm saying? Other than that, I'm like, all right, that's cool, but like, how can I put the D on it? You know what I mean? So
Yeah, that's a good answer. I mean, that's kind of what I was talking about. And I'm like, I'm kind of weird like that because I get inspired, but I don't know. Like, I don't know. I don't know how to do that. Like, I don't know how to get inspired without like being like, oh, I'm gonna start dressing like Tyler the Creator now. You know what I mean? Or
Yeah.
like, I'm gonna start dressing like. So it's like, I have a hard time like being like, all right, where is the twist? What is my twist? Always, you know, like, and it could be different every time. But I mean, like, I don't know.
I think one thing that you know for sure is that like one thing you mentioned was hats. You know what I mean? So if the hat is gonna be, you know, your thing, and fucking just
like focal point.
then just turn that and just fucking use the colors on the hat, and then just try to flip that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
And I think that like you only really need like one thing to like kind of like pop off, stand out, because it's all about balance, right? So like one thing might looks like your shirt might be like super outlandish and wild, but you might like tame that down with like just regular pants. You know what I mean? And so like if that's the case with the hat, I think that's, if anything, that's a great starting point for like just like touching base on different fashions is the hat, because one, it's the closest thing to your face, you know what I mean, and two, it's just like so much can go on a hat, like whether it be the logo or a pin or, you know what I'm saying, different kind of hats and shit like
Colorways.
that. So
Yeah.
how do you feel, you know, like can you make somewhat like a similar connection to like music in a way?
Yeah. I mean, and yeah, and that's why I think it takes a long, like it takes that development, right? Like getting inspired by different styles or getting inspired by different songs or whatever it may be, and understanding like, okay, like, yeah, like if I did that, I'm gonna do it this way instead of like just flat out like copy the cadence or copy the melody or even just the type of song, right? You know what I mean? So it's just finding ways to hone in on like what you can kind of like bring out, you know what I mean? And I think it takes a lot of time, experience, personality. Like it's like developing that sense of personality. I feel like, if you will.
Yeah, of course. What would you say is your hat musically?
Probably my lyrics, like my ability to wordplay and like just say shit that makes you like
perk your ear up.
yeah.
Okay. And so at that, like, when you start adding a beat and stuff like that, that's just like throwing on a fire coat and like
yeah.
or is it more of like those are the pants type of deal?
I mean, I would say like like punchlines and like setups and delivery would be like my like pants and my coat and my shoes. The beat would definitely the beat's my body.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then so that's where it comes in, because like the delivery is different sometimes, but the lyrics still stand out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like you could say like the lyrics are the hat, and then the outfit changes by
the song.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Like, yeah. That's a good way to put it, man. I fuck with that. That's a good analogy. You know what I mean? Fuck. I had another question about music and fashion, but I kind of I forgot it. Just bringing up that last question.
Yeah. I mean, I think they always go hand in hand, like, especially as we continue to see it grow and like the different subgenres of music and the different styles of like fashion and even how they coexist. You know what I mean? How those different styles coexist, like wearing baggy jeans and like wearing a crop top, like those aren't like really necessarily things that like go together, but like you see chicks do that all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And same with like sneakers as streetwear, like that's different. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like motherfuckers was playing basketball in those in the 90s.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so just taking all that and having that like formulate that sense of culture, if you will.
Yeah.
And kind of how it's all becoming like this sense of like the new renaissance. Like everything is everything, and you can just kind of like, if you can plan it out and vision it, and you can fucking do it, and you can kind of pull it off. You know what I mean?
And you can execute it.
Exactly.
For sure. I think like, cause I seen a video, and this is kind of along the same topic. I seen a video of this homie. He was kind of like, it's like a friend group, and he's kind of like asking his homie about the sneakers that he's wearing, because the sneakers are like shiny, bright, like golden Pumas, you know what I mean? And he is wearing like some big baggy jeans and like, I guess kind of like a crop top esque type deal. And so his homie is kind of like, you know, kind of questioning him and stuff like that. But his homie was actually like a lot younger. So I don't know if I wonder how the new generation is like taking on kind of like the whole like fashion role and what they're being inspired by. Because when he was talking to him about it, he was like why, you know, like how, why, like he's like, I'm not knocking you at all, like he's like, you look sick, like, you know, you look fire, but like I couldn't, you know what I mean? So like it just makes me a little curious on like where we're gonna go. Because like shit could be futuristic here soon too, you know what I mean, where it's like we're fucking wearing body suits at the same time.
I mean, dude, isn't it? I mean, I think it's crazy. Like shit just comes and goes. Those trends, they come and go. Like fucking everyone was doing those like bland ass like basic colors, you know. Everything was like shit green and fucking tan for a while there, like for like
with your 5 browns.
You know what I mean? Like everything was like for a while there, for like 3 years everything was like that. But then I don't know, it came and then it went, and you know, that's kind of where I say like it's cool getting older, because then you see like everything you've lived through, right? And then you start to see like the kids pick it up and what they take from it. And the cool thing about it is now that we have technology. So like I said, back in the day, we didn't have our examples were fucking Nelly.
Yeah.
And that motherfucker had me wearing Band-Aids
Yeah,
on my fucking
the
face
eye.
and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
Air Force Ones for real,
Yeah.
but like that's exactly how it was, and we didn't really step outside of that. It was like fuck it, you know what I mean? I mean, I think when they were trying to be like nice or like fancy, even it was still like big zoot suits and like
dog,
like
you
not
get
even
that motherfucking shit tailored.
Yeah.
Like I said, like why didn't anybody ever say like let's just wear some clothes that fit? Like nowadays it's getting like it's a little better. Like honestly, that's a lot better.
Yeah.
But still, you know, you have the tight ones and the loose ones, and it's all right. We'll rock with it, but it's like funny. It's cool to see how that like comes and goes, and how like people start to realize like, damn dog, I was really doing that back in the day.
Yeah,
Like
shit.
it's funny when you start to see like old trends and like old memories from Facebook and shit, and you start to see like I remember we went through a polo phase when we were like in like elementary school.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Even leading up to middle, I was hella in the polos.
And so it was like polo every day, polo everything, you know. And that came and it went, you know what I mean? So yeah, it'll be cool to see where we go. I think it's definitely getting more diverse. And then when you have shit like the Met Gala and you have shit like Fashion Week and just different stuff. Coachella is almost like that nowadays
Yeah,
too.
people-
where it's like
people
you
are-
have to have a Coachella fit, you
Yeah.
know, and you'll start to see all the trends kind of like start to build off of each other and remain, and what doesn't.
Before we move on, I was like, I really appreciate you saying that. Like, I inspire you is like fashion too, bro.
Yeah.
Just because like I like, the only people that have ever really told me that are like Mila and Z. So like, you know what I mean? Like it's cool that like, you know, I've been able to like kind of imprint it, or at least like push the envelope for you a little bit to kind of like, you know,
Yeah,
try to do
That's
stuff
all-
too.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean,
So,
always, man. Like it's always cool to have a big brother. Like I'll say that all the time. Like it's like one of the biggest blessings you can ever have, because like you have someone that you could always, and especially like if you get close with them and you like we've lived with each other for pretty much our whole lives, but it's like when you see this person evolve and you know you grow with them, it's definitely something that inspires you no matter what. So when you do kind of get to this like point where you're wearing cool shit and people see you wearing cool shit, then like it's damn near expected for me to come
Yeah.
and wear cool shit, you know what I mean, and vice versa, you know, and that's just kind of how it rocks. So definitely the inspiration is there, but also just how serious you took it and how you took it and kind of like we're like, all right, like this is what I'm doing now, you
Yeah.
know what I mean, this is the way of life, you know. So
this is something new, and this is something I'm diving into. I'm not gonna hold back, and I'm gonna try different shit and do all kinds of craziness.
yeah.
Hell yeah. I appreciate that, because yeah, like Mila and Z have said the same thing. They're just like, well, like you're a big inspiration for me fashion wise, and like, and I can kind of see that with like the whole Mila thing, and she puts her own like twist on things, and you know, Z too, you know, so it's just cool to hear, you know what I mean? I don't really hear that very often, so
Yeah.
that's dope. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Got you, bro. I got you.
Yeah, of course. For like kind of like our mental health aspect of everything, I wanted to kind of ask you, because like I had a stream the other day where we were kind of talking about this. It was one of my meditation streams, and it was just about like dealing with like rejection. So of course, like I'm self-employed, unemployed right now, so I'm like trying to do the thing and get back out there, but like I get, you know, kind of rejected, you know, quite a bit. And you know, a lot of the time it can make me feel like some kind of way. I try to like shake it off and shit, or at least like, you know, fake it till I make it, you know what I mean? How do you like, what do you think about like rejection? How do you deal with it? What are some of the things that you kind of do to overcome rejection?
That's crazy. I think that's where one of my like insecurities comes from. Like I'm scared of rejection a lot. Like I'll flat out say that. So I come from a place always of doing my best to not put myself in those situations. But it's always there, right? Like risk reward. And I had to teach myself that. You know what I mean? Rejection is one of those things where unless you get an answer, you don't know why. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so you're sitting there constantly thinking about that. Why didn't I get that? Or, why did she say no? Or, why didn't I get that position? That's the thought. Like that's what makes you kind of like, fuck, like I'm lost. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think at that point, that's always a scary place for anybody to be. Is like, wow, like now what? and where do I go? But it's all about building yourself back up. You know what I mean? And understanding like who the fuck you are. For the longest time, I didn't want to be rejected because I didn't know who the fuck I was. Yeah. And I didn't know what I brought to the table. So for a long time, it was like, am I getting rejected because they don't want me? Or am I getting rejected because where is that? Like, what is that? Why don't they want me? Is it because of me? Or is it because, like, they have standards? Do I not meet those standards? Is there other people that meet those standards? And if so, like, where the fuck, like, who the fuck are they?
Yeah. How the fuck did I fall off? You know what I mean? Yeah.
But I think what helped me was taking a step back and really just learning, like, what meant the most to me. You know what I mean? Because rejection is only disappointing when you, like, really wanted it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. When you kind of create this, like, narrative in your head or, like, expectation for something to kind of happen, and then the disappointment in the rejection is probably, like, the more underlying cause of the sadness, I guess you could say.
So I think when I really kind of took a step back and said, like, what is it that you really want, and why do you want it, and how do you get that? You know what I mean? And are you doing what you're doing to get what you want? You know what I mean? Sometimes you have high expectations, and you're not at a good place to meet those expectations, and that comes a mere moment when you have to decide, like, all right, I'm to push myself. I think that's very common. It's probably like humans' like first instinct. Is like, all right, back to the lab, like fucking push. But it's easy to do that because there's no paths. You know what I mean? Like, I do a really good job at laying out the paths. If I took this one, and if I take this one, and not looking too far ahead, but looking at, like, what does that look like? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do I turn and walk away? Do I just give up? Do I push myself to the fucking brink where who knows what happens? Or do I just kind of game plan and really just, like, say, again, like, what do I really want out of what I'm trying to get? You know what I mean? And a lot of times, like, nobody ever looks at all of them. They kind of pick one. Yeah. And that's, like, it. You know what I mean? But, I mean, all of them are viable options. Yeah. you know what I mean?
You
like,
literally can... The universe has so many different pathways that you can even literally take one of those pathways, and then on that pathway take, like, a side like a side quest. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
exactly. And so you might end up by like, say like, okay, so say, like, you're trying to get at this girl for a long time, and you just can't get her, right? You can't get her to invest. So you could either just keep pushing and become that like guy that's like, yeah, I like,
Oh, look, I want you.
yeah. Or you can walk away, or you can do that. It's probably best you probably walk away, right? Because who knows who you're gonna be able to meet after that. You know?
Yeah.
Or maybe take a step back and game plan. You know, because it goes by situation. Is what I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Different situations cause for different. I should give up. I should keep going, or I should just attack it differently. And I think a lot of times people are just so adrenaline driven and so like want that instant gratification that they don't look at all of those options and say like, this one's the best one for me right now.
Yeah.
They kind of just say, fuck, well, gotta go harder, or gotta fucking give up. You know what I mean? And so it's so different. It's so different with everyone. But we all deal with it different ways, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I would even say that I may be like a kind of like a perfect mixture of both of what you're describing, because I have been in sales, and I do know that, like, you know, it's a numbers game, whether it's the job thing, or whether it is like women, or whether it is like taking swings at a baseball. It's a numbers thing. So the more you do it, the more chance of success that you'll have. You know what I mean? And the saying in sales is like, a no is one step closer to a yes. So you can get 100 no's in a row before you get that yes. But once you hit that yes, it's gonna start to click. You know what I mean? So on the other hand, I do as well, like take time to envision myself, especially me being so like manifest heavy, like really kind of like see myself there. You know what I mean? What is that, like you said, what does that look like? What does that feel like? How do I look in a Best Buy uniform? You know what I mean? Like, like that shit,
simple
like
shit like that. Yeah,
it matters. You know what I mean? And you know, I think for the most part, like it works. You know what I mean? Because I think that the universe has a good way of, like, if you're not feeling it in that thought process, if you're kind of like doubting it even just a little, then the universe probably isn't gonna like have that work out for you. You might be going down the other choice, or the other pathway, because you already in your mind kind of like,
yeah, you've already set
like,
in stone.
have it made up in your head. You know what I mean? So I like, it's just one thing that I'm dealing with, because like for a lot of these jobs, and especially this year, I'm taking pretty a pretty big chance at like a lot of these jobs that I'm applying for. You know what I mean? Where it's like, I'm just going out on a whim. You know what I mean? I'm just not scared anymore.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I feel like my resume, I feel like it holds up. You know what I'm saying? Against anybody, even a college bachelor degree holder. You know what I mean? I feel like my experience and what I've been through and everything that I've learned and who I am as a person, I'm an asset to any team.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I understand who I am. But when I get those messages, bro, that shit's pretty fucking.
Yeah. It's like fight or flight at that time. You know what I mean? And like I think a lot of it has to do with like the law of attraction too. You know what I mean? Like you gotta be able to attract it, and attracting it isn't just asking for it. You know what I mean? Attracting it is like really taking the time to like put in the energy and the thought process, and like you said, like the manifestations, and just saying like the little sayings. What are they called? Fucking
affirmations.
Yeah, little affirmations, and just different, like doing the little things that get you to the point of getting that. You know what I mean? And sometimes you want the big, you know, you want the big prize. So either you got a game plan for it, or you got to take the time, right? It's gonna happen. but it's gonna take time. You know what I mean? It's gonna take you getting there, right?
Yeah.
Because a lot of that is just God. You know what I mean? Like, the cool thing, and I think we talked about it last week on the episode with the Shadur thing, was like, if you take rejection and you understand that God doesn't make mistakes, and you understand that if you are living, you know, in the light, and you're living in his light, and you're putting forth your best effort, right, and whatnot, just, he does not make a mistake, and he doesn't put you through anything that he doesn't think you can handle.
Yep.
So you just take a step back. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the biggest thing. I think it's just understanding that it's not rejection. You know, it's not the no. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's no from a pathway, but it's not the no to where you want to go. You got to understand too, like, building to get to where you want to go is definitely a thing, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And that's like, it's something that I wish I understood earlier in my life. Because, like, I'm so impatient now with the whole shit, you know what I mean? And, like, even me going through shit with my job and just being like, man, like, what the fuck, dude? Like, where am I going wrong with this? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But just taking the time to say, like, well, maybe it's just not the time. Maybe it's just not the moment. Whatever happens will happen, and I'm just going to continue to be the best version of myself that I can be. And that's kind of what I believe in. You know what I mean? Is just understanding, like you said, like, who you are and what you want, and understanding that sometimes what you want isn't where you're at right now, so you gotta work to get there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, shout out to my chat, because I shout out to Callie, because I think she was very positive that day, and she was the one who was like, well, you know, what's meant for you will be meant for you. You know what I mean? And that, like, in a sense, that's like what we're saying right now. You know what I mean? Just like, it might not be right now, bro, but it's gonna come. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, that's why I don't, like, I stress about it, but I don't want to, like, push at it, because I did also see, like, a video on just, like, the difference between, like, chasing and attracting. You know what I mean? So, like, chasing is more of, like, a forceful energy. You know what I mean? And the more you chase something, the more it kind of, like, runs away from you. You know what I mean? And when you attract things, they come to you. Right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So walking that fine line of, like, you know, ambition to a point where, you know, I'm getting it. You know what I'm saying? But I'm also not gonna, like, cause the friction in the universe by, like, stressing and just, I can't control every outcome. Right. You know what I mean?
That's what we gotta understand. Yeah. Right? You don't control.
I can't control every outcome. So I gotta just be happy and thank God for, you know, what he is, like, showing me and everything like that. So, but yeah, did you have anything else that you wanted to kind of talk about before we, like, move on from that?
Yeah. I mean, dude, like, I would just say, for those of you that have a hard time dealing with rejection or are afraid of rejection, I would say just learn to love the idea of knowing that what's best for you isn't, like, always like right in front of your face. Yeah. So you have to understand that. And bigger picture, like, just understand what's best for you too. You know what I mean? Like, that's tough. It's a tough ask for a lot of people, I think. Just because I think for me, the longest time I lived my life, I didn't know what was best for me. Yeah. You know what I mean? So find that and understand that, and that puts you in a good position where rejection becomes less of a hassle, if you will.
Cool. Well, thanks. That's a great segment right there. But we'll go ahead and we'll transition over into our sports segment of the episode, and
Yeah.
pretty big game last night.
Nice.
I don't
Dude.
know. Somewhere along the way, the Nuggets, who are playing the Oklahoma City Thunder. Just to recap, let's recap real quick. So the last time we talked, chat, we were playing Game 7 against the LA Clippers. The Nuggets went on to win that game at home against the Clippers to go on to the next round to play the Oklahoma City Thunder, where last night they had Game 1, and during the game, the Nuggets did not look so good. They actually were trailing by about 16 points, I think, right?
I think
Yeah, like 20. So the Nuggets did not look good throughout the game, but turned it on late and end up winning on a game-winning buzzer beater by Aaron Gordon. Go ahead and just talk about it real quick, probably.
Lot to unpack. I think I honestly I don't even think Game 6 had been played last time we talked. I don't think so. Because Game 7 was Saturday. Game 6 I think was Wednesday.
Oh yeah, no, we did. Yeah, because I remember I had said we were trying to close it in LA. Yeah.
Fuck, dude. Lot to unpack. I think for me, ultimately, I have to do this. I'm sorry, Aaron Gordon. I called you out on the podcast and said I was sick of your shit. Said I was done with you playing when you want to play, and you took the year off, and yada yada, and this and that. I apologize, because without you, we would not be where we're at today. And honestly, good on you.
Yeah.
That being said, I mean, dude, it's happening, I think. Like, what I wanted to happen, what I thought would happen when we got rid of Booth and Malone is what's happening. And I think it's like, I never really wanted to say it out loud because I just wanted it to, like, naturally happen. But ultimately, just them kind of coming together, and we were talking about it on one of our episodes about, like, oh, we got, like, 3 games left. Like, how can we pull it together? Like, we got to get on the same page.
Yeah.
And it's happening.
Yeah.
I really do think it's happening. And I think it's happening at a rate that's scary for the league, because when you see a team like the Nuggets get hot and start to make those plays, that's like, if they go the other way, right, we're out of the playoffs.
Yeah.
And if we go the other way, like, now we look at this series as daunting, and we look at it as like, fuck, dude, like, we were down by 20, like, fuck, we came all the way back and still didn't, you know.
Yeah.
Those are the type of games where if you lose that game, it's a lot different, and it's a lot like the basketball gods are like seeing this all happen. And mainly for Nikola, I think it is. Like, I don't know what Nikola was blessed with from basketball gods, but like, I think it's him. I think it's ultimately starting to come into fruition how much, like, talent and how much cohesiveness and how much,
like, leadership
that he brings to the table, and it's starting to see something special. You know what I mean? And I think this playoff run, no matter what happens, is definitely one that I'll remember for a long time. You know what I mean? And, like, prominently in the Nikola Jokic era. Win a series against a team with 2 MVPs, with the interim head coach. Like,
yeah, dude, it's
unheard
crazy.
of. You know what I mean?
Never happened.
So I like, with the interim head coach who's like, I don't know how many, like, head coaching games he's had in the NBA.
Just the 3,
right? So it's like, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll kind of wrap up my like and let you have the floor by just saying like I'm just so excited to see what happens.
Yeah, no.
And to keep continuing to fucking watch them, bro, because it went from being like really stressful and really like fuck, like I mean you heard me. I was like, dude, this is not even like fun to watch. I don't even like watching them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, cause it was so frustrating to watch that, and I mean, for those games being, we were in a slump. It was a very dry, cold basketball month for that month.
Right.
You know, right before, like leading up to the whole Malone thing and everything like that. I think that's what like really stands out to me as much as just like how much Nikola is on the sideline, pulling the strings. You know what I mean? He's on the sideline coaching, and for the most part, the whole team seems like receptive. Yeah, like they're like, yeah, like whatever you say, Yoke, yes, please. You know what I mean? Because I think he's just so smart basketball sense wise that like it's like undeniable. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
So when he's sitting there and he's like kind of yelling and going off or whatever, he's definitely like making a huge difference in the game and whatnot. So
do you think like not to like cause conspiracy, but like do you think because like Malone was such a like fiery personality that he like now that he's gone, now Nicola's like finally getting the chance to like talk in the huddle and express himself? Because I feel like in a way he, from what I see now, like it almost seems as if hindsight, like he's been biting his lip for the last like
kind of
for the last like 12, 10 years.
Yeah, it kind of seems like that.
And now
at least for the last 3, right? Yeah. Like at least for like since the championship run. Just because, yeah, I mean, two personalities that are like kind of like bigger, you know what I'm saying? They do tend to like butt heads a little bit. I think that Malone was always like pretty open, like, you know what I mean? I don't think he was like telling Nikola like he couldn't, you know what
like,
I mean?
Say shit or
yeah. I think it was just more of just like he was probably telling him like just watch who you're saying it to. Yeah. You know what I mean? Watch how you work with these guys, type of deal. Maybe you know, and that can cause like a riff, between like if your boss was like you and one of your homies are like one of your coworkers. You know what I mean? And he talks to you and he tells you he's like, hey, like the other coworker, he's kind of you know what I mean? It kind of like makes you put you in a weird position where you're kind of like the middleman in between that. Right. You know what I mean? So now Jokic is like, he's like, well, shit, like I want us to be good. I want to help out, but like I can't
say shit.
Yeah, I can't do it because it's not me. You know
I think too, like I was gonna make the boss employee kind of analogy as well, because I was gonna kind of compare it to like when once your boss like retires, right, or they leave, and then you assume that position or adopt that position, then at that point like you're able to kind of like implement the ways you were trying to like, because like you said, they're both basketball smart, they're both like big personalities, you know what I mean? I think at some point, you know, maybe Malone was like, oh, we should rotate our defense like this. Yeah. And then Jokic was like, well, if we just do, we do it your way. We do it your, you know what I mean? And then he exits, and now it's like, oh, shit, well, we need to play defense. And Jokic is like, well, if we just do this, you know what I mean? And now he gets the chance, and now you're starting to see, because like, I would listen to Jokic. You know what I mean? Like, everyone should listen. He's the best player in the world, right? So like, now, it's easy for people to be invested in, and now I think maybe he's just got the platform to kind of like put that shit in to implement the shit. Because I think that's a lot of what I see differently is specifically the way we rotate on defense and to like the rotations that we have is kind of weird. Is like you can tell maybe it's less catering towards the style we're trying to play, and it's more catering towards just like Nikola Jokic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And that's like weird to say because I do think like Malone was invested in Jokic, and it took a long time though. Like I remember watching some of the early playoff series where he would literally like take the ball out of Jokic's hands, and like it would be like Murray or it would be fucking Will Barton.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I remember those days,
You know
bro.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Where it was just like, dude, why are we not giving Jokic the fucking ball when it's fucking, last shot or whatever? So it took a while, I think, for Jokic to develop that trust as well. So maybe that is like a thing. I was going to say it's just he developed a sense of respect from his peers and from everybody in the world. And yes, Malone, but to a point where there was still Coach Malone and player Jokic, and they weren't like
on the same.
Mm-hmm. It was more of an employee boss.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you what to do, and Jokic is a good employee, so he's like, okay, but he's the best employee, so he's gonna do what you tell him to do, but he's also gonna fucking do him.
Yeah.
And be great.
Yeah. Nikola just continues to impress, though. 42 and 22 yesterday, bro. That is crazy, man. Just fucking Wilt-like, dude.
Nothing surprises me anymore with that guy. Like, the stats, to me, they're crazy. Don't get me wrong, but, like, fuck, bro. Like, what's crazy to me is he's been doing this for so fucking long, dude. Like, I don't believe you can get bored of it. Like, I don't believe in voters fatigue and shit like that. Like, bro's been doing it for 5 years now.
Yeah.
And then this year he's averaging a triple double. Like, given the story of the Nuggets this year, it makes perfect sense that he would average a triple double, get to the playoffs with the fucking interim head coach and just like ride it out and just rock the shit, because like it's the most Nikola Jokic Denver Nugget era thing to do.
Before we like wrap up for the day, we'll kind of move on from Nikola, but we'll move over to, because I want to get your opinion on the MPJ Russell Westbrook kind of thing that's going on right now. So because MPJ didn't play in the last 4 minutes of the game yesterday, and I mean he's starter, big guy, big contract, one of our main scorers and stuff. Do you think it's Russ having the veteranism and being able just to like step into the role, or do you think it's a little bit of Michael like losing his stride, or what do you think it is in your head?
I hate to do it to you, but I'm gonna say a little bit of both, but I'll tell you which one I think it is a little bit more. I think it is Russ hitting. Like, I think it's Russ. I mean, I don't know what he's shooting now, but as of after winning Game 7, he was shooting 42% from three-pointers, and that's huge. We need that.
Yeah.
If Michael Porter can't shoot that, we can't have that on the floor. You know what I mean? And that's what it comes down to. I think, making your shots, making your plays, and we've relied on MPJ for so long to do that like I say too, when I watch him, it's like you can tell what kind of game he's gonna have. You know what I mean? It's like we know we've seen him play in close games and play good. We've seen him in close games and play bad. It's just one of those things where it's like when you don't know what you're gonna get, and then you have like somebody mistakes and just certain times where it's like you should have hit that open shot. Like, hate to do it to you, bro, but that's what we fucking pay you for.
Yeah.
You're a max player, bro. Like, But also at the same time, like, dude, he's hurt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and that's something that I can't let like go unheard or like unsaid, because he's hurt and he's playing still.
Oh yeah.
When has MPJ been hurt and been playing still, right? Like, when does Murray do that? It's like around the playoff times, right? Like when they really like push themselves, but like you could tell dude is not just hurt, like dude's injured. Like,
Like, it's bothering
he
him.
can't fucking lift his arm. You know
can't
what I mean?
dribble. You can't
No
do
matter
anything.
if you're fucking 6'11" or not, like if you can't lift your arm above your head, bro, you're might get blocked.
Yeah.
You know, you're gonna shoot like short. You know what I mean? Like, that's just what happens, and it's unfortunate, but we gotta win games, right? Like, fuck. And that's the name of the game, the NBA. You know, so it's like, what can you do? I do like shout out Russ though, because he's definitely someone that probably surprised a lot of people, if not like everyone.
Oh yeah.
With how consistent he's played, more so in these last
This last month.
maybe like week. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just coming from like balling out in LA, and then game 7 was pretty big from him, like as far as like just energy, facilitating. He did hit some big shots as well. And then like last night he was just OKC loves it, and you can just tell he loves to play there. And
yeah, he was in it, man. They all were. And I like, you were chilling last night for for the stream, and I kept saying that is like, when we first got Russ, I was like asking people if they're excited, you know what I mean? I was like, Russ, dude, like, it's gonna be sick. And a lot of people were like, bro, I don't know, he's kind of washed, you know what I mean? Like, nobody really wanted to give him a chance. And I mean, I feel like even along the way, sometimes I would like lose faith a little bit, you know what I mean? I was like, yo, he's playing out of control. He's fucking. I was just getting pissed, dude, and I was like, just don't fucking give him the ball anymore. You know what I mean?
Right. I think it was the Timberwolves game that like did it.
and fucking, just to see him kind of turn around in this last couple weeks, I think that I have to go ahead and get like an apology going forward too, you know what I mean? Because I was reaming him for a second, and now it's like starting to pick back up. I'm like, oh shit. Just because, like, yeah, bro, like, it's not that it's crazy, like, it's not like it's crazy with his presence, but we definitely feel when we don't have.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, a shot of Russ is definitely better than a shot of nothing, right?
Yeah.
Like, but now we're starting to see, like, it's really great though, actually. Like, a shot of Russ is really great when you know how to take it, right? And like, I think that was always the thing with me, was how does he fit? You know what I mean? I came into the season knowing we needed a backup point guard. Like, we knew that was going to be a thing. We didn't have anybody in the second unit that, aside from maybe Jalen Pickett, but knowing what we know now, Malone was never going to play Pickett.
Yeah.
So you get Russ, he's the backup point guard, and then it becomes, okay, what kind of backup point guard is Russ going to be? And he had to take the whole season to figure out what that meant. But like you're saying, I think he's like, oh, this is how I play with the Nuggets. I don't have to be triple-double Russ. I don't even have to be MVP Russ. I don't even have to be former MVP Russ. I just have to be Russ.
Competitor.
Yeah, I just have to be a competitor. I just bring fire to these fucking guys. And I think, like, that's what I, like, probably maybe you and I both, like, hoped for and, like, kind of, like, wanted. And at times, it wasn't like that. But, yeah, you're starting to see it kind of develop and grow on. It is funny that even this morning they were talking about on the radio, they were talking about how Russ is now a part of the core here in Denver over MPJ. And I think it's a very interesting idea, But I think he probably understands this is his last run. Like this is the closest he'll probably get in the rest of his career. So he's probably like this is the team. We got
to make this happen.
This is the role. Like, these are the shots I have to hit. Like, that was cool to hear him talk about that, too. It was like he's talked about how people dogged him for not being able to shoot. And he's like, people don't know. Like, I really, like, put in time.
Yeah, I do this.
Like, I practiced.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so he took that and he ran with it. So now, yeah, you're starting to see, like, a veteran be a veteran on a team that needed that kind of veteran presence.
Yeah. And I, like, and this is my final take, too. It's just, like, it's just a sense of like fearlessness. You know what I mean? That's what I like admire about him so much. It's just like he's not scared to just go. You know what I mean? And I think that's what like really energizes and strikes us and brings us up. Does that come with the fault sometimes? Yeah, like we do get those turnovers. We do, you know what I mean? But that's also like
some missed layups.
Yeah, and now that we've taken the whole year to get used to it, you know what I mean? Now it's like, okay, well, now we know we're going to deal with that. Those are just part of it. Let's just move on and just keep capitalizing on the energy that he has more than anything.
Right.
And not only is he like not scared to put the ball up, he's not scared to D up either. You know what I mean? He's the first person attacking the ball. You know what I mean? Right. And even yesterday after AG hits the buzzer beater, he's the first person like going to stop Williams, who's trying to take another like a 3/4 heave. So it's like the awareness and the maturity that he has. Like I'm like always loved Russ since he was in OKC, but like having him on this team is definitely something I'm taking more pride in, and especially because of my original thoughts on him. I was like excited, you know what I mean? Losing those and then coming back to him, I'm like, oh yeah, this is kind of what I wanted for sure.
I mean, fucking like, let's see, it was Bruce Brown was like during our championship run was like kind of took that role. You know, he started like being fearless, and if you can take Bruce Brown, which no offense to Bruce Brown, but he hasn't won any MVPs. If you could take a guy like that, make him a role player that is a perfect fit in the puzzle that you have for a championship team, then, dude, what makes you think you couldn't do that with the fucking former MVP?
Yeah.
Right? And so, it's like I said, it's a very, very, a move that paid off that I think everyone, high risk, high reward type deal. You know what I mean? And we're starting to see how high that reward just might get. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I'm, like I said, I'm excited for it. And we'll see, because this series is going to be, we're going to be fucking talking about this for...
We're locked in for this one. This one's a good one for sure. And against the number one seed in the West, OKC, bro, who are a legitimate team, bro. Right, yeah. Like I'm watching them yesterday, and I'm thinking to myself, like, good gosh, bro, this is the battle. You know what I mean? Because after, I mean, we'll focus on that later. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, they're a team that's been chomping at the bit, and they're a team that has a good group of guys that like to play with each other.
Mm-hmm. They're close.
Yeah. And not to mention like the MVP thing.
Yeah.
SGA is the
everybody's the
clear leading candidate. Yeah. But I mean, this is our chance, man. Like it's everything that I think for me that I've wanted for the Nuggets in this year at least. You know, yeah. I was wanting them to make a statement against the Celtics at one point, and I lost that game. Wanting them to make a statement against the Lakers, got blown out of that game. Wanting to make a statement against the Timberwolves, lost that game. So like now it's like, okay, let's see what we got here. Let's make a statement, and they're delivering. I'm excited.
Oh yeah. Well, we got game 2 on Wednesday, game 3 on Friday, and then game 4 on Sunday.
Is it game? They don't do 2 in between when they travel.
No, from I wrote it down. It's on my
okay.
it's on my calendar.
Alright.
So, but I'm pretty sure it's every other day.
Uh-huh.
If you want to check. Either way, I'm gonna be like streaming all of those games. I just fucked with that so much yesterday, and
Oh yeah.
it was real fun.
Yeah. Another shouts outs for D, right? Like big streaming day. Shout out to you.
Huge.
Big streams, big awesome, big deal. I want to give you your flowers for that. That's really amazing, man. Like keep doing what you're doing, dude.
Yeah, hell yeah. I thought it was cool just because like I had last week I couldn't. Last week I couldn't stream. You know what I mean? And it kind of bothered me. It bugged me a little bit. You know what I mean? So to get back to it, bro, and to have it pop off as much as it did yesterday was definitely super fire. So make sure y'all tune in, lock in. We'll do like some social media plugs here in a second, but yeah, we'll be live, active, watching all of these games. When are they?
No, you're right. It's Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Or
Monday,
this week. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday.
Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, bro. All right. So by the time we come back to the episode next week, we'll be 5 games in. We'll see where we're at.
Yeah, 4.
4 games in. All right.
So we'll see. That's great though, man. Yeah, fucking beautiful. I think, like I said, dude, like God doesn't make mistakes, you know. So just so happen, you know, sometimes that needs to happen. You know, just take a break, and then next week you pop off. You never know, you know.
Yeah.
Happens.
And then we just keep going. Keep
yeah,
capitalizing.
yeah.
Bro.
Just keep capitalizing. Keep praying. Keep doing what you're doing, man. It's a beautiful thing, life.
Thank you, bro. You want to go ahead and hit them with your social medias and like your your plug and everything like that, just real quick.
Yes. Instagram. My name is Probably, all one word. YouTube. My name is Probably Official. That has my music on it. My name is Probably 97 on TikTok and Twitch. Big time rapper. Big time fucking creator. You know what the fuck going on.
It's episode 20. Bitch.
It's episode 20. But yeah, extremely grateful to have support and to be able to do this shit with you. So
Yeah, of course, man. I do it every week. I appreciate it, and I think, dude, honestly, they just keep getting better and better. Like, seriously, I say that every week too, but I legit feel it, and I think that, like, you know, when we get to talking, like, you could definitely the aura in the room goes up. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So
definitely.
So I appreciate you. My name, I go by #Dion on all social media platforms, including X, Instagram, Twitch, Discord, and you can even look me up on Indeed or LinkedIn. Dion Trejo, I got some videos on there as well. Make sure you follow our YouTube page. It's the Us Versus Us podcast, and that's where we post all of our episodes. We post all of it exclusively to YouTube. We're working on getting more stuff out for what's the app? Anchor. Working on getting all the episodes on Anchor and everything. But for now, we're exclusively on YouTube, dropping these episodes. We got the video, we got the audio. We're on point. You know what I mean? So go give that a subscribe. And just tune in, lock in. I appreciate anybody who comes by the podcast, whether it's for, 5 seconds, 5 minutes, or the whole hour that we run. Everybody who checks out the episodes and gives us feedback, shout out to you. I appreciate y'all so much. We're gonna go ahead and get up out of here, probably. Is there anything else that you got?
Fucking, since the Nuggets are doing so good, fucking stream Jokic on all streaming platforms, man. We're going up, man. Gotta get this man his fucking 10th MVP or whatever the fuck he's got. But I'll sign off with that, man.
All right. One love, y'all. Peace.
Leave me alone if I need me a sec. I need it. Fuck it, I need me a check. I need it. Saying with love, now that I'm found, I really need my respect. I really need it. Nobody but me in my head. Nobody. I'ma do me till I'm dead. Do me. If I gotta fight for my soul, then fuck it, I might as well go for the neck.